but I'm still not sure whether I'm audible or not. Because okay, thank you, Mohammed. Um, all right, so I'm audible. So let's continue with the session now. So it's a pretty straightforward session. It's actually two. Let's say the session is in two parts. First part I'll be taking. Second part, my colleague, who is a senior course advisor, will be taking. Right. So why two parts in the sense? I'm more of a technical person. If you have any technical questions related to the DevOps services, the DevOps concepts, you can ask me. I would be the right person to answer them. If you have any questions related to training, the certification, career-related questions, like you're from a different background and want to get into DevOps and stuff like that, you can keep those questions for later, and my colleague will be answering them. All right. Okay, so I'll start off with my part. I'll just finish up my part, and then the last 5 minutes, we'll have a question Q&A section where I'll answer all the questions you guys have put up in the question section. All right. Okay, so we're going to see why a DevOps engineer and how you can become a DevOps engineer and how you can start learning with it. All right. Okay, so to start off, these are the three things which we'll be saying at first. That is the different job opportunities which are available, the salary of the DevOps engineer, because this is one of the important aspects everybody looks into whenever you're getting into any job. Who's hiring? So that is basically, it depends on the current scenario. But the thing is, every single company is hiring for DevOps. So there is no issues with that. I was talking about job opportunities. There are so in India, so there are 2,600 open positions. So this keeps varying every single day because new job postings are posted every single day. In US, there are around 21,000 plus job positions just for the DevOps engineer role. And the right side ones are basically city-wise. That is, just in Bangalore, there are 900 plus positions, and just in California, there are, sorry, that's statewide. Just in California, there are 1,200 plus positions. So and these data, I just took it from Indeed and Glassdoor. It's not my data. So you can go and verify from Indeed and Glassdoor right now, because again, the job postings will vary every day. So that will change for the DevOps engineer role on Indeed or Glassdoor too. So you guys can go check it out and understand what's the current scenario as well. And the average salary, this pretty much depends on the experience you have, or if you're a fresher, then it would be the lowest in this particular category. If you're not, then you would be earning a little more. If you have enough experience in cloud, or if you have enough experience in DevOps, then you will earn more than the average. This is the average in India. It's 80 to 1 lakh, 80,000 to 1 lakh per month, and in US it's $11,000 to $16,000 per month. This is the average, guys. This is not the lowest or the highest. This is the median. Like for example, let's say if you go to Glassdoor, you'll get an average value. The problem is this sample group is very small. Sample group is very small in this sense. Let's say there would be around 2,000 people who would have put in this data, their salaries, and using that data, you would have received an average. All right. So, but that's a very small sample. So it totally depends. But if you have enough experience, you'll be earning the price which is shown here. This is the average, as I told you. But again, the salary depends on the type of company you are in, and also the amount of experience you have. I was talking about the type of company. Essentially, there are two types: service and product. Service in the sense, it's basically providing services to the clients, to other clients who already have a setup. All right. And product-based company in the sense they have a product and they'll be using that product to generate revenue. So in a service-based company, the client will have a product, you will be servicing them and maintaining their product for them. And in that case, the DevOps engineer would be the person who helps keep the what to say, keep the existing pipeline afloat. But the product, the company as a product development company, in that case, the product is the one which is being sold by the company, and the revenue is being generated because of that. All right. Okay, so again, if you're in a product development company or a product-based company, in that case, you would be earning more than a service-based company, because in a product-based company, you are the person who will be handling it directly. But in a service-based company, that's not the case, because there is already an application, there is already a pipeline available with the client. You will just be guiding and maintaining it. But in a product development, in a product-based company, the product is in the company, and you will be the person who will be handling it directly. And so yeah, so 4 to 10 LPA in service-based companies and 10 to 30 LPA in product-based companies. And coming to years of experience, again, this depends, and this also increases if you have more than 5 to 10 years of experience. In that case, you would earn more. Yeah, so this again is one of the average salaries factors. And finally, your potential and personal skills. So that we'll see later. I'll just introduce you to some companies which are hiring for DevOps engineers. So you would have heard most of these companies: Wells Fargo, Oracle, IBM, JP Morgan, VMware, Walmart, Adobe, Amazon, Dell. So these companies are still hiring for DevOps engineers. All right. Yeah, so if you want to get into a Fortune 500 company or a major company, then learning DevOps is the right call, I would say, because I would say that because every company who have a product, so they are trying to shift into a DevOps culture or already have a DevOps culture and want DevOps engineers to maintain their pipelines and make sure that everything is automated. All right, so that's why major companies are hiring. Now, coming to the skills, let's look at some job descriptions which will give you a better idea of what companies are expecting from a DevOps engineer. All right. Okay, so I'll be going through these 3 different job descriptions and giving you an emphasis of what exactly is expected. Okay, so first of all, the Oracle DevOps engineer job role. In this case, you can see they have asked Java, they've asked web services, and yeah, so in web services, again, REST and SOAP APIs. And then they're asking for Linux operating system experience. They're asking for build tools like Gradle or Maven. They're asking for experience in DevOps tools like Git, Bitbucket, Jenkins, other CI/CD tools, basically every other CI/CD tool, Excel Deploy or Azure DevOps, or what else, Nagios, Kubernetes, Docker. So these are the services which this particular job description is asking for. But when you come to the next one, it's pretty similar, but the services which they're asking for is completely different. So there they ask for Java, here they're asking for Python. And here they've mentioned some other DevOps tools like Ansible, Terraform, Jenkins, and Docker. But there it was Git, Bitbucket, Jenkins. All right. And here they're asking for AWS upfront. They're asking for a cloud service provider. You should know a cloud, and then cloud automation software. And yeah, so Big IP, DYN, Route 53. So these are some smaller services under cloud and under networking and stuff, and DNS. So leave that off. Just concentrate on the top ones. That is the DevOps tools, a programming language, and a cloud tool. So in this case, it was Linux operating system, some build tools and DevOps tools, and Java and web services. Coming to the last one, here you can see again, in this case, they're asking for Java or C++. And then they're asking for a shell scripting language. Sorry, not shell scripting, scripting language, in which you can learn Bash, which is shell scripting, or Perl scripting, or even Python as a scripting language. And they're again asking for Linux operating system. And here they're asking for SQL. So if you look at this, even here, they would have asked for database and SQL programming skills. So now I think you would have gotten a gist of what are available in these job descriptions. Now let me give you overall idea of what are the different skills which are expected, or which are the skills which are required or needed by a DevOps engineer to succeed in their field. Okay, so first one is obviously a programming language, because when you're going to become a DevOps engineer, you should have a complete idea of how software development works, how software development completely works, from development, that is coding. Then once the code is done, the code will be reviewed, and then the code will be tested. And then once it's tested, it will be pushed into a staging environment. And if it's running successfully, then it will be pushed into a production environment. And once it's in the production environment, the monitoring tool will be monitoring the application which is running 24/7, and will be sending bug reports and other logs back to the development team. So they will check out what are the bugs which have been arise and try to solve them. So basically, as a DevOps engineer, you should have a complete idea of how the software development lifecycle works. And for that, to know that, obviously, you should also know one programming language, either Java or C++. You should know how the code works too. The second one is Linux operating system. So Linux is pretty basic for any IT job, I would say. So if you want to get into tech, or if you are already in tech, you would already know this, because Linux is pretty widely used in the IT industry. Even cloud servers, most cloud servers run on Linux rather than Windows. So any Linux distribution is fine. Learn CentOS, learn Ubuntu, learn Red Hat, doesn't matter, but make sure you learn a Linux operating system. And then DevOps tools. So obviously, as a DevOps engineer, you should know DevOps tools, but it doesn't have to be that you should know every single DevOps tool. You can choose around 8 to 9 DevOps tools, which so that you can keep your leg in every single phase of the DevOps lifecycle. That is, let's say, at first you can learn Git, so that once the programmer or the developer has written the code, they upload it to Git, and then once it's available in Git, it could be pulled by the continuous integration tool, which is Jenkins. And once it is pulled, it can be again pushed into a testing server where the test is run using Selenium. So you can learn Selenium, and once the test is run, it's again Jenkins will once all the use cases have been passed, Jenkins again pulls it back and pushes into a staging environment. So the staging environment will be running on, let's say, it has a server, and the server you have Docker running and Kubernetes pods running. So in that case, you would have to know Docker and Kubernetes. And once staging environment, once it's successfully running and every aspect and every feature of the application is working, then you can push the same application into the production environment. Yeah, again, it will be the same replica of the staging environment. Yeah, so once that is done, then the production environment should be monitored using a monitoring tool. So it can be an ELK stack, it can be Nagios, it can be any monitoring tool. So again, so you should also know a monitoring tool like that. So DevOps tools is obviously important, and you should know one DevOps tool in each phase which you are going to be involved in. And then fourth is a cloud provider. It can be AWS, Azure, or GCP, doesn't matter, but learning a cloud provider is really important, because most companies, architectures, and environments are on cloud right now. So it's really important. And fifth one, database. So again, like Linux operating system, SQL, basically SQL is also a pretty common skill to have, because Linux, as I told you, Linux is used in every single company for one or the other reason. Same thing, SQL is also used in every single company, because if you have any application, let's say the application could be coded in Java, C++, C Sharp, doesn't matter, because when you connect it to a relational database, obviously you would need SQL to query the data. So learning SQL and understanding SQL as a DevOps engineer is also really important. And finally, a scripting language. So you might ask, why do I need to know a scripting language when I know a programming language like Java or C++? So why? Because, for example, certain tasks cannot be automated using DevOps tools. So in that case, you will have to write a script to automate it. For example, let's say you want to do a maintenance check, or you want to update your server every day at 5 p.m. So you can write a script in which you run a cron job, which will automatically check and update the system at 5 p.m. every single day. So for that you would need to know scripting. All right. So these are the various skills you would have to know as a DevOps engineer. All right. Okay. So now I think I've covered the skills part. So I think you have a pretty good idea of what you should know. So 5 more minutes, guys. I'll be just finishing up my part, and then the next 5 minutes I'll answer all your questions. You can keep putting your questions in the question section. All right. So now roles and responsibilities. So making sure the pipeline is running smoothly. This is for every single company you're going to get into. They would either have a pipeline running, or you would be the person who is creating the DevOps pipeline. All right. So in that case, you would be the person who should make sure that the pipeline is running smoothly. What else? And if there is any issue with a phase of the pipeline, you should be the person to troubleshoot it. and interaction with the other teams. This basically is really important because as a DevOps engineer, you would be working with so many different teams. There is the development team, the testing team, the security team, the operations team, the IT team. So you'll be working with all kinds of teams, and you would be the person who will be communicating with each and every single team. So in that case, interaction is really important. And then work on the automation backlog. So let's say if you come in for the day and you take the first 2 hours to review logs and checking what are the issues and how the pipeline is running smoothly, and assign the tasks to your subordinates to check and clear it. Now you can start working on the automation backlog. So automation backlog, in this sense, it basically is automating certain tasks. So it might be manual before, but your task right now would be to making it into an automated task by writing a script or using a certain tool. Doesn't matter, but this is also one of the important aspects of DevOps engineer's job role. And then infrastructure management. So this is basically managing the cloud infrastructure, and you won't be the main in charge here because there will be a cloud architect and a cloud admin. So you would be involved in this, but it's not a really important task. And then dealing with legacy stuff, it basically is certain applications might be running on a really old, really outdated server, or a really in an on-premise server. So in that case, you would have to shift or migrate it into the current cloud provider which you are using. And yeah, so that. And finally, training and self-development. This is for every single job role. And at last, documentation. So documentation is really important for a DevOps engineer. Why? Because if you are, let's say, you will be working with multiple teams, you'll be working on multiple aspects of the pipeline, you'll be working on multiple applications and projects. So in that case, documenting every single step you are taking is really important. For example, let's say in the future, one phase of the pipeline, let's say the continuous integration tool has some issues, and now the company wants to roll back to the previous version. So now, if you have the documentation of how the previous version works and how the current version works, we can easily roll back. But if you do not have it, then that will be a really tough task. So documenting is really, really important as a DevOps engineer. Yeah, so all right, so this is pretty much the same thing, the skills which I talked about. Learning path, I'll just, because I am from Intellipaat, so I'll just give you a small snippet. You can check out Intellipaat's blog and our YouTube channel for free content. And also we have intellipaat.com/academy. So if you go to Academy, you will get free courses over there, and you'll also get certificates, but they're foundational courses, and you can learn from them as well. All right. Okay, so that was the last part. So now I'll answer some of the questions, and then I'll hand over the session to my colleague. All right. Okay, so first question is from Prateek Kumar. So these companies are tied up with Intellipaat. No, not all of those companies are tied up with Intellipaat. I actually took those companies as I searched in Indeed and Glassdoor on which companies are hiring for DevOps engineers. But we do have tie-ups. You can check that in our Intellipaat website. If you go to the DevOps course, at the bottom you can see our tie-up. There would be logos of the companies which we have tie-ups with, so you can check that out. And next is, actually, can you share the PPT? Yeah, so just do one thing. You can ping support@intellipaat.com, and they'll forward and try to reply as soon as possible with the material. Right, from Bharadwaj, do we need to write code as they mentioned Java or Python in job description? No, your job role won't involve developing code because that's not your profile. Your profile would be to make sure that developed code is running smoothly in the pipeline. So to make sure that you have a pipeline which will successfully run the code which is being developed is why you have to know the programming language. For example, let's say the code is written in Java, all right? So let's say you're building it with Maven, and as a DevOps engineer, you should know how to build that code with Maven. If you do not know how to do it, and you will struggle in that case. So for that, so that's the reason why you should know Java or Python or whatever programming language they have asked for in the job description. But your major work won't be on the code. Your major work would be on the pipeline itself, on the DevOps pipeline. All right, next question is from Snehal. What do we need to do for career transition in DevOps? All right, so my colleague will be talking more about this, about the training and how you can switch careers. But if you ask for my advice, I would suggest whatever role you are into. For example, you might be in non-tech, or you might be in tech itself. If you're in non-tech, then it needs a lot of effort. You will have to start from the scratch, but it's still possible because you can check out Intellipaat's YouTube channel. We have lots of success stories over there where people from non-tech backgrounds got into DevOps, and yeah, so basically that's it. So more about this will be answered by my colleague, so please hold on. Next is again from Hardik. As I am not belonging to the developer field, so can I become a good DevOps engineer? As I told you, you don't have to develop code as a DevOps engineer, but if you were a developer, then it would be pretty easy to transition into DevOps. But if you have not, but it's still not impossible, you can still get into DevOps, as I told you. So please wait. You would more information about this will be spoken by my colleague. So please wait for another 2 to 3 minutes once I complete my questions. Once I answer all the questions, then you would get your answer. So please wait for that. Again, from Snail, I have 2 years of experience in SQL. How do I switch to DevOps? So SQL in the sense, I think you mean you were a database admin or a database engineer. So in that case, even that is an easy switch for you. So you can easily take up DevOps and learn all the services and learn all the required skills and get into DevOps. Right? From Rahul and from Electrical. Password, how can I get a job in IT field? So this is more of a generic question, I guess. Again, so to get a job in the IT field, obviously, if you are from a different background, you can start from scratch anyway. If you want entry-level job, you can basically learn the required skills. For example, you want to get into a normal engineering, software engineering job. In that case, you will just have to know a programming language and some SQL. That's it. So if you know them, you can get into a job in, let's say, Wipro or in TCS or these kinds of consultancy companies. So then from there, you can build your career. All right, from Pavan, do you need strong Python knowledge for becoming a DevOps engineer? So Python knowledge is, as I told you, it depends on the job description. If they ask for Java, you should know Java. If they ask for Python, you should know Python. But strong Python knowledge will obviously help you in any role, and especially in DevOps role, because you can create really good scripts using Python. So it will be really helpful. Next question is from Bhagyashree. Is this more on admin side than developer? No, DevOps engineer is not an admin job or a developer job. It's kind of in between. You are creating the IT infrastructure, you are creating the pipeline for the applications to run, but you won't be administering it. You will be maintaining the pipeline. The administration would be done by the actual cloud admin or the administrator which the company has. Okay, from Amar, so I've completed MCA in 2017, but it's in non-technical field. So can I switch into AWS DevOps? As I told you, yes, you can. So more about that will be talked about my colleague. So I don't want to give wrong information. And so please wait. You will know more about it. Okay, I'm currently attending DevOps course in Intellipaat. My doubt was, this is from Funny. My doubt was like, is that basic stuff is enough to get a job with good hike, or do we need to do real-time projects? I'm having 3 years experience in IT. So I think we do cover real-time projects in DevOps. We do cover the major services which are required in the in every single IT company. So I'm not sure like which course you are in, but I'm pretty sure we do cover. And if you complete it, obviously you can really get into a good job. Is this good for a Java developer from Bhagyashree? Yes, it's absolutely good for a Java developer, as I told you. Next is, I'm into automation and manual testing. Can I be a DevOps engineer? Absolutely. If you are into any one of the phases of DevOps, you can become a DevOps engineer pretty easily. That is, let's say you are in as a developer, or you can be a test engineer, you can be a cloud engineer, or you can be an administrator who monitors the cloud infrastructure and the DevOps pipeline. You can still get into DevOps. And in this case, as a Java developer, you can easily get into it. And I've got three more questions. I'll be finishing up pretty soon and handing over my session. So from Ashwath, okay, it's again the same. I'm into automation. Yes, this is the question which I answered right now. From Kishore, Linux system administrator for 10 years. Do I consider as a fresher if I finish DevOps certificate? No, if you have experience in administration in Linux, I think you can get into DevOps pretty easily with as an experienced person. And final question from Jai Krishna. I don't have skill in the IT sector. I'm a beginner. How can I prepare for DevOps? What's the learning process? So as I told you, you have to start with the basic skills, uh, like learning DevOps tools and learning a programming language. So it totally depends on where you start from. So now, in our Intellipaat course, you can check out our website. We would have laid out the entire plan to become a complete DevOps engineer. You can just go through the points in the curriculum, and you will know more about it. So more about that will be talked about my colleague right now. So I think I've come to the end of my session, guys. Thank you so much for attending. I've answered all the questions which are there. So now I'm going to hand over my session to my colleague, who will be talking more about the training and career. Thank you so much. Meet you in another session.
Hi guys, this is Charles Christopher. I am an advisor and a career counselor. Well, I've been doing this for about 13 years. I'll be sharing a lot of information with you guys about which program is best, where you can find the details. So let's get started with that. We are on the Intellipaat homepage, so let's straight away get into DevOps course. So here we are. So this is the DevOps certification training program. So first thing that we notice is in collaboration with IBM and Future Skills and Free Linux course. Well, if you ask me, DevOps and cloud guys are like husband and wife. Whoever wants to get into DevOps should know cloud or vice versa. So 95% of the cloud servers are on Linux. So having a basic understanding of Linux, whether you get into DevOps or cloud, is literally an added advantage. So that is the reason we give you self-paced for free. Now, 40 hours of instructor-led training. So let's see what is it that you'll be getting trained in the 40 hours of duration. So here we are. Now, these are all the list of modules that's going to be covered from the very basic to advanced step by step. You can click on each and every module, you see what are the additional tools that's going to be taught in each and every module. So introduction to DevOps. So if you have a question back of your mind, will I be learning from the scratch? The answer to that question is yes. You'll be literally learning from what is software development from that very basic. And if we see something very interesting, hands-on exercises. So guys, if you're here to learn, you're in the wrong place. If you're here to get trained, you're definitely in the right place. There is a massive difference. You see a lot of free content, cheap courses out there. It's a presentation and lectures. Nobody cares what sort of theoretical knowledge you have in the interview. All they care about your practical hands-on. That is what is going to help you land a career, especially in IT. So we do not teach you, we train you. So this is the proof. Every module has hands-on exercises. So you are getting trained directly by an industry expert who's already working as a DevOps engineer with 15 plus years of experience in IT. So you're directly getting trained. So all the modules has hands-on exercises, guys. So we don't teach you. The bottom line is we train you. So we are going to provide you the necessary lab environment for you to learn, play, and practice. We also provide you lifetime technical support assistance whenever you are stuck or whenever you have any queries. We are there to help you, guide you, and assist you. Now, moving further, DevOps projects. So this is the vital part of any program. So no matter where you learn without having hands-on experiences on projects, it is useless or pointless, no matter how much money or time you spend. Because one thing we all can agree on is every company wants to hire a person who has experience. So they're talking about hands-on experience. So nobody is going to ask you, can you please define what Docker does? Nobody. They're going to ask you, when you work on a CI/CD pipeline using Docker and Jenkins, what are the challenges you faced and how do you overcome those challenges? So these are the questions you come across in the interview. or they're just going to turn the desktop towards you and ask you to find what is wrong in it and ask you to fix it. So you can do that not if you have a theoretical knowledge. You can do that only if you have a practical hands-on working on such projects. So these are the real-time industry projects, which is literally mandatory for you to land a job or clear the interview during the technical round. So even if you're stuck, there is nothing to worry. We provide you lifetime technical support assistance. Whenever you're stuck or whenever you have any concerns or queries, we are there to help you, guide you, and assist you. Now, DevOps does not have an official certification exam, guys, so you need not worry about clearing one. Only Kubernetes have an examination. The course content itself is designed for you to clear the Kubernetes exam. Now, this is a course completion certificate issued by Intellipaat, acknowledged by Future Skills and NASCOM initiative, will be issued by Intellipaat and given to you on completion of the program and assignments. Assignments will be evaluated and then you'll be handed over the certification of completion. Now, we are the only company to offer you a lifetime access, guys. There is no expiration. You can attend as many classes, retake as many batches. Nobody's going to stop you or question you. Instructor is live. Any questions you have, you're free to ask the instructor. Is going to answer to you. Live recorded videos of your own classroom is also added to your account for your reference. So all the classes are recorded, so you have nothing to worry. So any questions are most welcome. I'll be more than happy to answer. So we also are providing you job assistance. And the job assistance works in 3 steps. Step 1 is we are going to rework on your resume. Step 2 is we are going to prepare you for the interview with list of mock question and answers. So even before you attend the interview, you have a firm understanding of what sort of questions you might come across. And the final step is we have our own job portal. Apart from marketing a resume on LinkedIn or other job portals out there in the market, you can also use Intellipaat portal. So your possibilities of lining up interviews literally increases. So I have a question here. So I've completed MCA in 2017, but my job is non-technical field. Can I switch into IT sector with DevOps and AWS? Or purely DevOps software field. See, if you are having a prior programming experience like C# or Java, then you get into a role called DevOps engineer. I will show that to you. Well, okay. Yeah, this is a program. So if you're from hardcore programming and coding, or if you're interested in hardcore programming and coding, so DevOps Architect program is the best program to choose. Let's say you're interested in to get into cloud and DevOps, but you don't have any prior experience. I wouldn't recommend DevOps Architect Masters. I would recommend a cloud engineering profile or cloud engineering program. Now, let me tell you the difference. So this is a program, which is DevOps Architect program. Usually, if you want to get into a developer's role, this is the best program you can opt for. If you see, this is a combination of 8+ courses: DevOps, AWS SysOps, Docker, Kubernetes, GitHub, and Python, and Linux self-paced. So 8 courses in total. Every benefit is literally the same, guys. Lifetime access. All the classes are recorded and given to you interactive. So because there are more courses, you come across more projects, beginner projects, intermediate, and advanced. You're learning, you're getting trained by working on hands-on projects step by step. And the cost is more because the duration and the prices are more. So guys, if you see, every program website offers 10%. So this is my detail. Let's have a one-on-one discussion about your career. And for DevOps program, you save 30% of your money, which is purely on a first come first serve basis, only for the attendees who are attending the webinar today. So for DevOps Master Program, DevOps Architect Program, you get 50% discount. I just have one coupon with me, which is purely on a first come first serve basis. And for Cloud Architect Master Program, also 50% discount, purely on a first come first serve basis, guys. So let me talk more about the Cloud Architect Program. So this is my WhatsApp number. If you're in US, you can WhatsApp me on my US number. If you're in India, you can WhatsApp me on my Indian number, or drop me an email to charles.christopher@intellipaat.com. So this is a multi-cloud program. Multi-cloud is very hot in the market, guys. So let's say 90% of the companies purely work on projects. So outsourcing companies. So they don't stick to one technology. Let's say you're working on AWS, but future project requires Azure. They're not going to let go of such a huge project. They're going to implement Azure as well. So at that point in time, it's a challenging part for recruiters to hire Azure professionals. What they expect is they expect the current employees only to upgrade their skill set. This is the reality. So that is the reason multi-cloud professionals are one of the highest paid jobs in the market. So this has AWS, this has Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud, top 3 cloud in US and India or Europe. So DevOps mandatory, like I told you, programming language Python. So these are the 5 programs with live instructor. Self-paced are Java, Linux, Splunk, Azure Architecture, Hadoop Admin, and Agile. So in total, it's collaborated with IBM and Microsoft with 11 courses in total. The benefits are the same. The only difference is the projects are more and the cost is more. So you get 2 course completion certificate, one from Microsoft Partner Network and the other is from IBM. So this is designed for you to clear multiple examinations. So based on the profile, I'll be able to recommend which certification you'll have to go for, so and focus on. So we prepare you for certification exams as well by providing your mock quiz. You just have to take our quiz and score 60%, then you're sorted. So I have a question here. I have 4 years of experience in Linux administration. After the course, I show whole experience or I'll be fresh. And nobody's going to be fresh. I get these questions a lot of times. So let's say, let me give you a scenario. AWS, let's say it's in the market for about 12 years. So does that mean on the year 1 when AWS was introduced, all those people are freshers who have passed out from college? No, they're all senior professionals. But before that, that means they were working in IT but different domains. Maybe a networking manager or administrator. They were working as database managers. So when you want to upgrade your skill set, the only option is to make a better living, a better designation, a better position, is to upgrade your skill set to the next technology which is hot in the market. So nobody is going to not consider your past experience. They're going to consider 100% of your past experience. It's only that you have upgraded yourself into the next level. So that means you can expect a better package from whatever you're making and a better career as well. So none of your past experience is not going to be counted. If you have that sort of doubt in your mind, please take it away. Every day of your experience, whether you worked in the past, is going to be literally counted and considered. So what about advanced cloud certification, cloud and computer DevOps? That I'm going to walk you through next. So I'm just going through the questions. So the last program I'm going to introduce you guys to is this. I believe everybody knows about IIT. People who are in the US, if you don't know, it's quite simple. So IIT is Indian Institute of Technology. So it's a very renowned university, especially after Sundar Pichai, the global CEO of Google, uh, took over Google as a CEO, global CEO. Everybody, every corner of the world started to recognize and know about IIT. So this program is in collaboration with IIT Roorkee, Advanced Cloud Computing and DevOps. So this is a job interview guarantee program, guys. So many people, they don't know how much of SQL they should know, how much of Linux, how much of Java, how much of Python. To give an example, Python is used to build a website, to design games, to build an application. But do you have to know all of those things? The answer to that question is no. So what you do is you try to learn complete Python, complete Java, complete Splunk, Agile. So you're master of none, but jack of everything. So that is the reason this is a very strong, comprehensive program put up by IIT, a 7 months comprehensive program. The content is very super solid, and this is a certification of completion from IIT Madras, IIT Roorkee, guys. And these are the roles you'll be qualified to work once you complete the program. Cloud architect, DevOps architect, senior DevOps engineer, cloud and DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, AWS DevOps architect. Now, this I call it as a dedicated program. Because let's be honest, no matter how much of time and money you spend without dedication, it's all going to be a waste of your time and money. So if you're serious about pursuing your career in cloud, but if you don't know how much of what you should learn, so don't worry, we have a program which is very solid with a very solid content. 40% of the content is covered by IT professors themselves, making sure your fundamentals are very strong. The remaining 60% of the content is covered by industry experts who are already working as cloud engineers and DevOps engineers. So it's a mixture of both. So like you see, you'll be learning preparatory sessions, which is Python, and Linux also, which, like I told you, it's a prerequisite. Introduction to cloud, parallel computing. Let me show you this. Yeah, here it is. So these are all the tools realistically you require for you to land a career. Whether you are making 3 lakh per annum currently or 20 lakhs per annum, doesn't matter. So if you're looking for a better package or better position, this is all it takes for you to land a career. Because you need to understand every company has a position for a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So depending upon your past experiences, what role you'll be suiting yourself into. And even the hands-on projects, you see beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So if you don't know which area are your strong suit, nothing to worry. You might be bad in programming. Once you do a beginner project, we get to know. So based on that, we're going to motivate you in intermediate and advanced. So if your strong suit is towards the networking and administrator side, don't waste your time focusing projects or hands-on in developer side. Focus in your strong suit. Or if you're good in very programming, don't waste your time practicing or focusing on networking administrative projects. Focus on the developer one. So that neither you know, neither do we. So once you are in the program, once you do the beginner assignments and projects is when we are going to motivate you and guide you in the right direction. So currently I'm doing the DevOps Architect Master Program. Okay, what should I be expecting the base salary for DevOps engineer if I ace the interview? So I need to know a lot more than this. I need to know your background. Are you a college passed out student, or are you currently working? If you're currently working, what is the package that you're making? So based on that, and most importantly, which region you're based out of. So based on multiple factors, I will be able to give you a an approximate figure. So this is 3 guaranteed interviews program. Sort of 150 courses, we are offering only 4 or 5 programs, which is in collaboration with IIT and MNIT, with guaranteed interview schedule, whichever city you're based out of. So you have nothing to worry, because 8th month, we are dedicating our time to prepare you with one-on-one mock interview sessions and career mentoring sessions. We're going to build your LinkedIn profile as well as your resume. So out of 5 interviews, worst case scenario, you can complete or clear at least 3 interviews. And the expected package salary hike would be 30 to 50%. So that totally depends upon how well you perform in the interview. So to be honest, we closed down the registrations in the first 2 weeks itself because the cost being very, very cheap. I will show you the one more program and I'll explain you why it is cheap. So because of the Indian Ministry of Education has released a government subsidy because of COVID, that is the reason the cost is very, very cheap. If you see this particular program, this is literally the same. The IIT Roorkee and this is IIT Guwahati. But this particular program is 1,75,000 plus GST. So even after this month, the October batch onwards is going to be 1,75,000 plus GST. So fortunately, a couple of customers in the US, they want to postpone their batch to November. So that is the reason we have 2 slots left out at this particular price. So we are decided to give it away on purely a first come first serve basis. So if you're looking to save money, now is the time. So you know what to do. You just have to WhatsApp me on either of my numbers. Let me guide you into the right program and help you save a lot of money, and also most importantly, without wasting any of your time, you're landing in the right program. So what is the expected salary for a fresher DevOps engineer? As a fresher, you can easily expect 5 lakh per annum if you're in India. So that's it for today's presentation, guys. So now you have a lot more details than you did before attending the webinar. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to discuss with you one-on-one. So here's my WhatsApp number. Please feel free to WhatsApp me. Let's discuss about your career and let me help you save some money. So I hope today's webinar presentation was useful and informative, and I wish each and everyone a great evening ahead. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.